Hey everybody, Eric Dorwood here at the Spartan Rocketry Club, continuing my build of the Estes Boss. And so the bottom half is basically done at this point. It's been sitting. I put fillets on pretty much everything, so this is good to go. It is time to figure out what to do with the top half of this thing. So I'm not sure that all this is going to get done in one video, but we're going to give it a try. First things first, I do need to do a little bit of measuring. And I need to measure for a variety of reasons. Mostly it's about where to attach a variety of different pieces. So I do actually need to glue a couple more things to the bottom part. And I suspect that, well, this is probably, this is probably going to take two parts, one way or the other. So that's because the glue has to dry. So quickly, I'm going to just measure onto the tube here. And I need to measure 1.5 inches because I need to put two basically adapter rings on here. So there's 1.5 inches. And the adapter rings that I need are right here. So I'll grab them. So these guys are going to go on this tube, hopefully, easily. Yeah, there we go. Like so. And I'm just going to push that one past where it belongs, and this one I'm going to get on as well. So this one's going to slide to here, this one's going to slide right to the end, and they're going to provide the interface so that the next tube part can go on easily, because otherwise it's not going to fit. Alright, so let's glue these on quickly. I'm just going to put a thin ring of glue right around my 1.5 inch mark. Actually, I'm going to put it a little bit above it. Yeah, pretty much right on it. I guess it doesn't really matter too much. There we go. And down at the bottom end as well. So this one's easy enough. I'm just going to put it vertically and then push it down. It's going to make a nice glue mess, as it always seems to. But that's why I have a paper towel handy to clean up. There we go. And then the other one, well, it's just going to slide down. And I think I want the back end of this side to be at that 1.5 inch mark, rather than the front of it. I can't find my mark. Well, I need to really sharpen that pencil because it's not very dark. It needs to go a little bit farther. Ooh, well, there it is. It was way too far. Okay, well, that obviously spread glue places I didn't want it to go, but it's all going to be inside the body tube, so that's not going to affect the presentation here. It's also, that was quite difficult, which means probably there's a good amount of glue there, so I don't need to worry about it. Alright, that, yeah, it was actually a little bit skewed too. Alright, so that is basically where it's supposed to be. I'm going to let this dry, maybe in a couple of minutes it'll be good enough that I will feel confident in doing the next, well, combining the two. Truthfully though, I don't really need to combine the two for a little bit. Alright, so the other thing that I'm going to do with the ruler while I have it out, close this up, is, so here's the top part of the tube, and I have used the line guide, and I've drawn, there are only 2 lines on this, and the only thing that these lines are for is to put little decorations on. No, that's not on it. Here's a pencil. Now, they need to go at 1/2 inch, 1.5 inches. Oh, no, wait, sorry. So it's 1/2 inch from the end. Just make sure I'm reading this right. Although, I mean, again, these are decorative, so worst case scenario, they're not quite in the right place. And then it says the next dots need to be 1.5 inches apart. So we should have one at 2 inches, so that'd be 1/2 plus 1.5, and then another at 3.5. So like so, and I'm going to repeat that on the other line. There we go. 2 and 3.5. Okay. All right, that should do. Now, what's going to go on these? Well, if you recall, back some time ago, we had this piece of cardstock and used it to laminate the disc fin. Well, it also has these little circular dots. These are, I don't know, I guess they're supposed to be like portals, or that would be portholes, not like teleporters or something. Portholes that you can see out of in the rocket, or vents, or I don't know what, but they're decorative. So these get cut out. You could probably try to punch these out, but I don't know how well that would work given how small they are. So I'm going to stick with the hobby knife. And if I did a decent job, they should have all popped out. Apparently I did a half decent job because half of them popped out. There we go. Alright, that's scrapped now. And these are just going to get glued on at those, those points. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue here instead of trying to apply it directly to the dots. And I'm just going to get a little bit of glue and I'm going to dab it like so. Hopefully this will keep the amount of glue down to a minimum. These are so small they're going to be pretty hard to work with. So I'm going to do my best to center them both on the line and at that mark that I drew. Actually, I'm going to put the left end at the measured mark, and then just try to squish it flat. The danger about doing this is, well, I mean, it's not dangerous, but I'm kind of a little concerned that I'm going to end up getting some like dark colored schmutz on the tube or on the cardstock, because these were laser cut, I believe, and sometimes the glue denatures some of the burned part and makes it look kind of ugly. Fortunately, that doesn't seem to have happened just quite yet. It might be partially because I'm using so little glue that you don't need to worry about it all that much. This is also going to be, I'm going to do a little bit of work on it, on the tube, I should say, but I'm not going to do much, so I don't want to get a lot of excess glue on this that would mess with the finish. Alright. So that's halfway. I'm just going to try to plop this on, even though I'm using my left hand. So I'm trying to just kind of clean off any of the excess glue as I'm attaching things here. And the last one, this is a good amount of glue, that's just about right. Really, this requires like the slightest trace quantities of glue, because you're gluing what is basically like a hole punch circle. It's so tiny, barely requires any glue whatsoever. Alright, so hopefully those are all pretty well centered and pretty flat. I'm going to just push on them gently with my thumb to make sure they are on flat, but they feel pretty good. Yeah, so the thing that, like I said, I'm a little concerned, I want to make sure that I don't screw up the finish all that much here, because whatever glue I get on here, it's going to be hard to deal with, and I'm not really going to be able to sand it, because those aren't part of it. So. Alright, reasonably confident with that. The other thing I'm going to do quickly is there are more decorations that need to be added to this, but only after I attach this. So I'm going to cut these out. There are 12 of them, and I'm not going to cut very much. I'm just going to try to cut right on the burrs, and hopefully they will just pop right out. I do see that some of these, the burrs are on the diagonal, so I'll get those in a little bit. Right now I'm just getting the vertical ones, the ones that are going with the grain. So those are usually pretty easy to take care of. Alright, let's try to get the diagonal ones quickly. No, I didn't cut them apart. I've just cut them out. So there's probably, well, we'll find out, I guess, if there's anything else holding them together. And yep, on the other side you could see there's a bird right in between them. So mind the fingers here. This probably would have been a decent place for me to grab my cut-resistant glove, just in case, you know, because I was really putting my hand in danger's way there. Probably not the smartest thing I've done today. Alright, so those are all cut out. Again, there should be 12 of them, and they are going to get attached as we connect things. But I think I don't, well, you know what we're going to do quickly? I'm going to get the burrs off of these things. So I don't feel like I can confidently hold, well, maybe 4 is about as good as I feel like I can hold at one time. I need to glue these on, so normally I wouldn't care too much about the burrs, but I do want a nice flat surface, so I'm gonna try to take the burrs off at least. So I'm gonna line them up. I'm gonna do 4 at a time, and just do a quick light sand on my nice piece of flat sandpaper here, and that ought to solve the burr problem. Yeah. Hopefully I didn't change the shape of them too much. Alright, so that's what we're looking at here. I'm going to wrap up the video at this point. I'm going to do the rest of these. Oh, no. Yeah, it's fine. It seems like a good place to stop. I'm going to let the glue dry on the bottom part, and then in the next video we will finish attaching these little bits, and that hopefully will wrap up the bulk of the construction. There are probably a few little minor things that need to be done. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.